Dela's voice has been made possible by the generosity of sponsors like you.
Every single person in this world has a story to share. Your story is your superpower, and it's unique to you. In sharing it with the world, you can impact millions of people. If you keep it to yourself, you are doing the world a disservice. This is Dela. I'm the host of Dela's Voice, and I help you share your superpower with the world.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations on Dela's Voice. What is a paradigm? What is a paradigm shift? How do paradigms influence our lives? What are some powerful paradigm shifts that can change our outlook on life? This is the topic of this week's Candid Conversations on Dela's Voice. Stay with me. We'll be right back. So welcome back. It's so awesome to be here with you. Yet another week, another show, another topic. And this week's topic, paradigm shifts, has been a very interesting influence on my life. And I've had many experiences, my own paradigm shifts, that have tremendously influenced the way I look at life today. And I want to share some of those with you. And also, we are looking to hear from you and your experience and how you have seen your paradigms change over the years, over the course of your life. How have they influenced you? Do they help you? Do they hinder you? It's going to be a fantastic conversation. I hope that you come along with me on this next hour with your comments in the chat. And then during the second half of the show, I'm going to open up the phone lines and you can call in the show and share your experience with us. I want to take a few moments and thank you, the viewer of Dela's Voice, for your loyalty, for your support and your input. It's truly appreciated. Without you, this would not be possible. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, I would love for you to press that subscribe button. I'm trying to get the number of the subscribers up to 1,000. And by getting there, YouTube will provide some added benefits to the show to support the show. I would really appreciate if you can make that happen. And if you're watching this on Facebook, I would love to see those likes. And as always, your comments and your shares are truly appreciated. Well, let's start. And by the way, if you're watching this show live, if you put in the comments, if you say hi, I can see you. If you don't, I won't see you. So I would love to say hello to you. And so let's start, shall we? So let's just start here. What is a paradigm? That's a good place to start. Okay, there are many philosophical and psychological, deep definitions of the term paradigm. A paradigm is a model or pattern for something that may be copied. A theory or a group of ideas about how something should be done, made, or thought about. A paradigm is a multitude of ideas that are programmed in our subconscious that we act on without even giving any thought. In my simple opinion, our paradigm is how we see the world. We all have our own paradigms. And paradigms are really our beliefs about everything, about life, about people, about events. And a variety of factors go into building those beliefs. Things like our environment, our culture, our families, our friends, our society, the news. Have you ever heard that thoughts become your reality? That's because we keep thinking those thoughts and they become our beliefs. So we believe them. Our beliefs then become our paradigm. In essence, they become frameworks for how we live our lives. We can so clearly see that right now in our current climate, with so many different things. And, a simple one is our paradigms about vaccination, for example. So many people believe a totally different paradigm than each other. And, we if we're not careful, we see ourselves being separated by those paradigms. Because a paradigm is a foundation on how we live our lives, so it becomes our truth. So there's a book called The Field Paradigm by Joachim Claes, German, I think. And he describes it like this. He says, a paradigm is like a pair of glasses. If the glasses are pink, the world is pink, right? If somebody would try to convince a person with pink glasses that he's wrong and holds a color chart right in front of his nose as scientific proof, scientific evidence, all this person with the glasses will see is just different shades of pink, confirming his belief and confirming that the other person has lost his marbles. It's our belief system that defines how we see the world. Sometimes we discover that our glasses are the wrong shade, the wrong ones. So we get a new pair. This is called a paradigm shift. Once upon a time, people used to think that our Earth was a flat disk and that the sun revolved around the Earth because that's what they saw. They saw a flat surface and they saw the sun revolving every day. And so it was natural to assume that this was the truth. This was the reality. But it's not all bad because our personal paradigms serve us, right? We need our paradigms to help us interpret, define, and engage in the world around us. Without our paradigms, we would constantly be struggling to determine and define what we see, what we hear, and what we should do about it. Our paradigms help us navigate through our lives seamlessly. The problem is if this is the only truth I see. Because my framework X may work for me, but what if it doesn't work for you? And who says it has to work for you anyways? So the danger is when I only see my framework as the absolute truth, then how am I expected to find any common ground with anyone else? In other words, I get stuck looking through my pink shades at life and think that's the only color. I'm going to take a look at the comments and see where you are. If you're with me, please give me a comment, give me a shout, and let me see you. Let me go back to the top and say hello to everybody. My friend Sarah J. from Germany is here. Deborah, my beautiful friend Deborah. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Tammy's here. Hello, Tammy. Betty's here. Hello. Thank you. Oh, my hair. Haha. Yes, I got a cut. You know what happens when your hair goes out of shape? I mean, you know, anything you do to it, it doesn't look good. And because of Zoom, really, all I have to care is like from waist up. So I might as well keep this in shape. So you know, that's all. That's what I can. That's the least I should do. Ziva's here. Colleen's here. Marina's happy Sunday, honey, to you too. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm glad you're here live. It's amazing. Marina says, I'm all about helping others replace their old non-productive paradigms with new and better ones. Yes, thank you for doing that. She does say that paradigms are a multitude of ideas and habits we have. Absolutely. You become what you think about. Totally. Ziva likes this topic. Amazing. Thank you. Betty says, I think if our paradigms are based on love, not our ego, we're on the right path. Thank you for that. Glenda's here. Good morning to you too, my dear. Roberta says, totally with you. Love the topic. Amazing. Deborah says, love my rose-colored glasses sometimes. Yeah. Annie says, hello. Hi, Annie. Yes, we need rose-colored glasses. You know, that brings a little bit of more positivity into our lives. I used to hear this a lot from the people around me. You know, that's so gullible. And this was, you know, when there was a lot of bad news going on, and I kind of wanted to stay away from the bad news. I didn't want to watch the news. I didn't want to watch things that made me feel bad because I was not yet in a space, in a mind space, in a mindset that was strong enough to hold myself separate from what was going on around me. So I like a lot of empaths, I would get affected by all these misery in the world, by the bad news. And people used to say to me, well, you know, that's just not realistic. You got to see what's going on around you. You can't stay ignorant. And I think I chose to wear my rose-colored glasses then because I needed it. I needed that defense mechanism to allow me to grow. And so I hear you, Deborah. Sometimes those rose-colored glasses, man, they're the best tools a person can have. So thank you so much for being with me. Let's continue. You know, talking about how people used to think that the earth was a flat disk, and anyone who came up with anything different would be considered nuts. Sometimes in the future, not so distant future, mind you, people will think we're nuts. How could we have such misguided views of our reality, being deceived by what we see, rather than how it really is? We see ourselves as separate from each other. I'm here, you're there, and there's nothing in between. While in reality, We're all connected by invisible fields. I have a personal story to share with you. And this was, I think, if I could say to you a paradigm shift that totally changed my outlook in life, this was the very first one. This was the one for me because I had no clue what a paradigm shift was before this. And back then I used to work with my coach, Carlene Gilbertson. This is a shout out to Carlene. Because when I went through this and I told her, she said to me, Dela, you just had a paradigm shift. And I had to go Google that to see what has happened to me. What did you say happened to me? So this is about my life story. And I really want to encourage you to think about yours and think about where in your life you've had a paradigm shift. So my brother and I had a very rough relationship while growing up. I used to blame him for my misery, okay? Because of his mental health, he got in a lot of trouble. And since I was under the impression, no one's fault, my own, that all of this was on me, I always held them responsible for my chaotic life. I resented him. And I thought he was a disruption in my life. When I finally accepted that his illness was just that, right? An illness, and wasn't anyone's fault, I decided to learn more about mental health. And by some miracle, I entered the realm of self-development. And people who have been along my journey, they've seen all of these things happen to me because I've shared it all along. And so I entered this new path of my life, self-development. Like, what is that? And paths from here and there open up, and these amazing, miraculous opportunities for learning more about me open up to me. And that's the reason I'm sitting here today. Because truly, if it weren't for my brother, the same brother I held responsible for my misery, I wouldn't be here today. I would have never discovered all these things about myself. Dela's voice would never happen. One day, I woke up and clearly saw that my brother was and had always been my guiding light, my angel. That, my friends, was my new reality. That's a paradigm shift. Has your paradigms ever helped you or hindered you? Have you ever seen someone else struggle because they see what they see and they just couldn't see the truth of a situation? I mean, it's also subjective when you think about it. We like to think we're right. We are under the impression, the hallucination, that what we see is the truth. And we're so quick to look at someone else, and if their truth doesn't agree with ours, we're so quick to say, oh, they're wrong. But we can't change other people, right? So this is the whole point of this talk, is how can we change our own paradigms? Because ultimately they will help us, and collectively they will help humanity live better lives. But changing our paradigms is not easy. It's not an easy task because they're so ingrained in us. So we're going to come back to the topic. I just want to take a moment and take a peek at the comments and see what you have to say. Katie's here. Hi. Glenda says, I try to be positive, but I am a little naive to protect my soul. Sometimes that's our defense mechanism, right? We all have our tools. We've learned our tools to protect ourselves. Colleen says, if we stuck to paradigms without being open to new information, we would still believe that everyone disappears when we play peekaboo. Don't they? I love paradigm shifts, aha moments, because it means that I'm learning and evolving. Yes. Betty says, news send us fear and hopelessness. Yeah. Ignorance is a bliss sometimes. I've lived that. I hope you're doing well. Are you doing well? Are you still with me? Drop a comment in the comments in the chats. Are you still are you still with me? Are you thinking? I'm hoping that you're thinking. A little reflection time. So changing our paradigms is not easy. It's not, right? We have so many thought leaders that have talked about this and have books on this and have workshops and seminars. One of those people is Bob Proctor. And I know some of you are avid fans of Bob Proctor's work. Bob Proctor wrote a book called Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. Just think about this title. Change your paradigm, change your life, right? So in this book, we learn that when you're doing, and I'm quoting, when you're doing something that's out of ordinary, your mental programming, your paradigm, will try and stop you. If you want to win, you must keep going. Your paradigms may be masked in complacency, fear, worry, anxiety, insecurities, self-doubt, mental hurry, and self-loathing. The result is keeping you stuck, locked in a box, and starved of your dreams and ambitions. So Bob Proctor's words are so powerful because you can see that in any area of your life. I guess if my belief is that, I'm trying to put words to this here. If we're thinking of success, let's say career-wise, if I'm thinking of where is this going to take me? I'm working so hard for this show and creating new content and always trying to, do my best, my 100%. And if I keep telling myself that I'm too little, or I'm not good enough, or I'm too old, or I'm too young, or if I don't have the right connections, if I say all these things to me, these are all my paradigms. I've said them to myself so much that they have become a part of my belief system. they will always keep me smile. They will always keep me where I am, here, stuck in a box. If I'm to change that, I need to change my paradigms. I need to change my belief system. So, in the book also, we learn the belief that long hours and hard work are sufficient to achieve lasting success is a myth. So just long hours and hard work is not going to get us there, because, I'm quoting again, without changing your paradigm, no amount of hard work and long work hours will make a measurable, lasting difference in your success. Once you change your paradigm, you expose yourself to a brand new power, possibility, and promise. If I change my paradigm from I'm too old, I'm not too old, I'm just using an example. If I change my paradigm from I'm too old to I have all the time in the world, then I'm opening up myself to more possibilities, to more energy, to more attraction from all over the universe. A paradigm shift in a personal sense is defined as a fundamental change in how we see the world. Changing personal paradigms opens up a range of new lifelines for our personal and professional growth. It presents opportunities, more opportunities than ever before. Paradigm shifts improve our lives, right? And I've noticed that some paradigm shifts have helped me in my journey, and they've been powerful, and that's what I'm going to share with you. They have allowed me to live with more peace, love, and joy. And I'm constantly working on this. But this is about sharing our experiences. So I will share my paradigm shifts with you. The truth is, this is how we learn from one another. And so I'm hoping that by sharing my experience, my paradigm shifts with you, I can inspire you a little bit. And if you are willing to share yours, I will get inspired by you. So that's when I'm calling you to call the show during the second half hour. Well, it's 12:30 now, so the second half hour of the show has started. So I will share with you my paradigm shifts, and I hope that you will too. All right, the very first paradigm shift for me, the biggest shift, I want to call it learning to learn. This is the truth, okay? We don't know everything. As a matter of fact, we don't know what we don't know. We don't even know that we don't know what we don't know. Are you following me? I'd like to say that accepting our ignorance and changing our paradigm from I know to I know that I don't know. Actually, this is what Socrates has said famously. I know that I don't know. It will open up any closed mind. We have a lot of different point of views. We have a lot of biases, different biases. because we have different lives and we have different experiences and we come from different backgrounds. If we realize that we may not know and we honor that, we may come to new wisdoms, and who knows what could happen. So opening our minds to learning, accepting, what do I want to say? Even just giving it a chance that I may be wrong. Maybe, just maybe. What that person is saying or what that other person is saying could be the truth. But until I open my mind, I won't know. We're so stuck by thinking we know everything. There are 6 words that I've learned that by avoiding, I can open up my mind. And I'm not saying that I'm always on this. I'm not, because I'm human and I'm always learning. I got to catch myself, right? The 6 words. Yes, but. I know my friend Colleen would agree with me. Yes, but. That just says I know better. That's it. End of conversation. Yes, but. The second set is I know. That just tells you I'm closed-minded when I say I know. And then the third set is what if, and what if is just tells you that I'm not living in today. What if this happens? And what if that happens? And, that just tells you I'm not living in the today. So that stops me from advancing. So learning to learn, powerful paradigm shift for me. Starting to say, I don't know. I'm open to learning. The second paradigm shift for me was to learn to give and take. Okay? This paradigm shift breaks our belief that more is better. That the more I have, the happier I will be. So many of us ask, what can I get? Right? What's in it for me? And if we change this to, how can I serve? What can I do? How can I help? This concept of giving will radically change us. It will change our relationships. It will change our overall life satisfaction. When I started doing volunteer work, it changed my life. I volunteered not to get anything, but just to give. And it opened up my world, and it brought in possibilities, more opportunities. When I started volunteering for Canadian Mental Health Association, it wasn't to get anything. It was just to give back because they had given me so much. And when I started volunteering as a facilitator, it started this world of public speaking for me and presenting and organizing workshops. And it was awesome. Running support groups. It was awesome. It taught me so much. It helped me grow. So I didn't do it to get anything, but it gave me so much. So volunteering is one of those things. There's this blogger called, his name is Jonas Niano, and he writes in medium.com, and according to him, the base for this paradigm shift is the law of reciprocity, the social norm that we respond to nice gesture with another act of kindness. Frequently, people react much more helpful and much more cooperative compared to the original action. The whole is bigger than the sum of its part. This whole act of kindness idea, I think it has such such ripple effects that can change so many people, but it starts with us, right? It starts with me. So the next time you're buying coffee at a drive-through, pay for a cup of coffee for the person behind you and just drive off. And, you just give a little cup of coffee of $2 to someone, and you make a difference in that person's day, and who knows what that person will do for the next person, and then the next person, and then the next person. It's quite incredible. The third paradigm shift for me was gratitude attitude. So there's science of positive psychology, okay? They found out that only 10% of your happiness depends on your circumstances, including the stuff we own. 50% of our happiness is dependent on genetics, and the other 40% comes from our intentional behavior. Only 10% of our happiness depends on circumstances. Honestly, this is huge. These numbers say so much. So we don't need more to be happier, right? So many people have said, simplify your life. If you don't need it, give it away. Declutter your space to declutter your mind. Shift from what I need to I don't need it. Shift from I need this to nah, I don't need it. Someone else can use it, right? Consider starting a gratitude journal. The simple one is 3 good things. When we are decluttered, we can concentrate more on what we have, what we are blessed with. Starting a gratitude attitude was one of the biggest shifts I ever made in my life. And it brought me so much more joy, so much more happiness and joy, so much more peace, and so much more fulfillment. That's why my book is called Enjoyness, because that's how you learn to live in joy. By the way, if you don't have my book, you can purchase this on Amazon. Every time I look at one of these, I'm like, oh, that's the biggest paradigm shift ever. The truth is, they're all so important. They've all been so important in my life. I don't know what's more important, okay? They're all really important. They've been important to me. This was huge for me. Giving up control. Learning that I am only in control of what I think, what I say, and what I do. That I'm not in control of what happens around me. I can't control other people. I can't control their thoughts. I can't control other people's actions. And I can't control what other people do and say. I can't control politics. I can't control the pandemic. I can't control the traffic. I can't control rudeness. I can't control anything that's outside of myself. So learning that I can't control what happens around me, but I can control how I react to what happens around me was one of the biggest shifts in my life. You might hear this and say, that's a no-brainer, Dela. Well, good for you. It was new to me, okay? I'm talking like going back 5 years ago when I discovered these paradigms, and they became my new realities. It changed my life. I wanted to hang on to control before this shift happens, because I think it was ingrained in me that I'm responsible for everything. I'm responsible for everything that goes on around me. I'm responsible for other people's happiness. I'm responsible for everything going just right, that I thought by controlling those things I could have peace. Truth was, I could never accomplish that. And it was always a disappointment. So I'm still working on this. The more I practice, the more serene my life becomes. And one of the best things I've learned has been the serenity prayer. And I'm going to share that with you. I think I've shared it so many times, honestly, but I want to share it with you again. The serenity prayer has been one of the best things I've ever learned. And it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Love, love, love the serenity prayer. And when I learned this, and when I really looked at it word for word, and I thought about all the things that I couldn't change and all the things that I could change, and just knowing the difference, right? Looking at a situation and deciding, okay, is this in my control? If it is, I need courage to change it because it's not easy. But if it isn't, I'm just going to accept it and let it go. This has been huge for me. Let me look at the comments and see what you got to say. Colleen says, unless what if is like I wonder, which can demonstrate an openness to different information. Yes, I agree with you. I think the what if is, I'm not happy right now. I'm not, so what if? Or anxiety of something. What if this happens? What if that happens, right? MA says, thank you, Dela, for a good subject explained perfectly. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying this. I have Vahan here who says, you are doing great. Thank you. Thank you very much, my friends. Thank you so much for the support that you're giving me right now. Ziba says, I totally agree with decluttering. Kami says, if you don't control your society, they will change you. You are obliged, kind of, to have impact on your surroundings. Hope you understand what I mean. Open to hear your point. Trying to, okay, let me read this again. If you don't control your society, they will change you. You are obliged, kind of, to have impact on your surrounding. What I've learned from my experience has been that the only way I can impact my surrounding is by living as an example. You know, often we look at our surroundings and we can find so much fault with other people and what's going on around us, with the politics, with the government, with just everything. We can find fault with other people. But I don't know, I mean, I'm saying say what you think because freedom of speech is a great thing, right? You want to talk about things. We need to learn to accept each other's points of views. We need to be able to hear them without fighting, without having conflicts. To have a conversation is a great thing. But at the end of the day, how I can influence other people, I'm hoping, how I can impact the world around me is really by living my best, by showing up as my best, and hoping that that's the influence that other people will take in. So, we want to copy what we like. We use role models. We look at them and say, I like this in this person, and then we try to implement that in our lives. I really think that, to me, that's the only way I can influence my surrounding. I'm sure you have your own opinion too. Write it down in the chat. Deborah says, I have learned that when you learn to follow this prayer, the serenity prayer, you can become so incredibly liberated. I agree with you, Deborah. Colleen says, you're not alone. I still hear people saying things like, he or she made me feel this way. We can sometimes give others so much power so that we don't have to take responsibility. We all do it from time to time. You're so right. We do give other people that power, right? To make us feel a certain way. We allow people, that's the truth. We allow other people to make us feel this way or that way. Because it's easier to give them the responsibility. Well, it's not my fault. You made me angry, right? Taking that responsibility back gives us that power, puts us in the driver's seat. Totally agree. Radio Shamroon is here, sending love. Thank you. Love you back. Deborah says, great topic as always. Thank you so much. Glenda says, great topic, and negative can be turned into a catalyst to make changes in our lives. Deborah says, yes. I love freedom of speech. I know you do. This is another part of gratitude attitude, right? To realize, Deborah, that, we live in a society where we don't get penalized for freedom of for speaking our mind. And I mean, right now we see that all over in Canada and in the States. I think it's a great thing. There are places in the world where there is no freedom of speech. And so we need to realize that that's not to be taken for granted. Thank you for that reminder. Colleen says, we all do the best we can with the information we have at the time. Alan says, hey Dela, Cindy here. Oh, Cindy, I love your message. We have like minds, hugs, you rock. Thank you, friend, you rock. And Ziba says, I think you're already making impact on your surroundings by your show. Thank you so much. That is my wish, Ziba June. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Love you, Shamroon. Yes, I love Radio Shamroon too. I do. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, yes. So I wanted to actually leave you with a fantastic poem. And if all our talk today hasn't hit home yet, I hope that this poem will, because when I heard this poem for the first time, it blew my mind. And I thought, whoa, how many times have we done that? How many times we've believed something to be so true, and it turned out that it wasn't, and it kind of gave us a different perspective of how wrong can we, if I can be wrong for such little things, what else am I wrong about? And so I think it's a powerful poem. I'm going to leave you with that poem. So it's a beautiful poem. So it's a poem called The Cookie Thief, and it's written by Valerie Cox. I heard this poem for the first time from Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I thought, woo, what a change of perspective. So here we go. The Cookie Thief by Valerie Cox. A woman was waiting at an airport one night, with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shops, bought a bag of cookies, and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. So she munched the cookies and watched the clock as the gutsy cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I would blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered what he'd do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, oh, brother, this guy has some nerve and he's also so rude. Why, he didn't even show me any gratitude. She had never known when she had been so galled and sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed for the gate, refusing to look back at the thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat. Then she sought her book, which was almost complete. As she reached in her baggage, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she managed in despair. The others were his, and he tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. I want to thank you all for being here today, for your comments, for your shares, for your support. I am truly honored to have this platform, and I want to thank you for allowing me to spend this past hour with you. Thank you for sharing this hour with me. Take care of yourselves. Be open to paradigm shifts, because it will change your life. My friends, have a great rest of your day. This was Dela's voice, Candid Conversations. Until next time, take care. What makes live shows so special is that interaction between the viewer and the host and the guest, whether it's through the chat or the live phone calls. This connection is created because people are allowed to share their experiences, their feelings, their thoughts. And this makes for a beautiful dynamic of energy that's connecting people in so many different ways. And that's how we learn. That's the best way we can help one another, is by connecting at such deep levels. This is Dela Fotoohi, the host of Dela's Voice, hoping to spark your soul